Let's play a game, all right? On the count of 3, name your favorite dinosaur on the Animal Kingdom dinosaur ride. Don't even think about it. Just name it. 1, 2, 3.
Carnotaurus. Favorite quick service meal ever on all of Walt Disney World property. Lobster roll. Favorite guest interaction opportunity in an attraction. That guy, Monster Inc. laugh floor.
What?
Did we just become best friends?
Yep.
Do you want to go do the Tomorrowland Transit Authority and wave to all the guests that pass by?
Yep.
Are you ready for a fun-filled hour of food favorites, resort hopping, and hanging out with Disney World geeks? It's now time to go geekin' on Walt Disney World. Here's our dad and co-host. Hollywood was impressed with his performance in crowd scenes at the Indiana Jones stunt show. He never misses an 11 a.m. margarita at the Mexican Pavilion. And Mike Wazowski is still raving about his performance as that guy over at Monsters, Inc. Laugh Floor. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Curtis Stone.
Hey, Disney World geeks. This week I bring on one of my favorite podcast hosts, Mike Rahlmann from the Be Our Guest podcast, to do a trip report and review Mike's favorites at Disney World on episode 292 of the Geekin' on Walt Disney World podcast. I am your Geekin' Family podfather, Curtis Stone, and we are the family-friendly father-daughter podcast, also featuring Mama, Auntie Judy, Soul Sister Holly, cousins Jen and EJ, and our Geekin' family will feed your passion for Walt Disney World by sharing our experiences and opinions, as well as others from our community of passionate Walt Disney World geeks. I'm so excited you're here with us listening to our show because geeky Disney people are awesome and we consider you family, part of our Geekin' family. Join us every Monday as we share travel tips, resort reviews, and lots of food talk through our live trip reports, interviews with our Geekin' family members about their trips, and special guest roundtables on fun Disney World topics from Geekin' family members all around the world. And we take pride in the awesome and positive community in our Geekin' family, so come join us to share in our love for Walt Disney World and each other, and I bet you'll learn something to try on your next vacation. Geeks, your vacation time is important. I believe so much you need to make your vacation time a priority in your life. And the number one tip we hear from our Geekin' family super geeks is that you need to plan before you go to Walt Disney World. So true. You can't just wing it. We help people book and plan Disney World trips. We're Disney travel experts and we're independent travel agents with Fairy Tale Concierge. Fairy Tale Concierge is an authorized Disney vacation planner agency. Disney World is an overwhelming vacation to plan, but let Mom and Auntie Judy take all the stress out. They're going to explain it all to you and help you create a great plan with fast passes, dining reservations, and tips on the best rooms and resorts in Disney World. And if you're a busy person and you want them to book those things for you, they will do that also. So join our Geekin' Family Inner Circle and you'll gain access to bonus podcast episodes, including 2 live trip reports from September 2018. I got a live trip report from Auntie Judy's living room reviewing our trip this past January. And now I've got 3 live recordings from our January 2019 trip that we took we started off at the Port Orleans French Quarter. I'm going to play you a clip from this week's Inner Circle after the interview with Mike, but our weekly email newsletter also is the Geekin' Gazette. You'll get that every week and a couple of freebie handouts, including a trip packing checklist and a spreadsheet that we use to help our clients. We also use it for ourselves, but it's all free and it's available on our website. Go to our website, Geekin' on www.com/inner circle to sign up. Hey geeks, this week on the show, I bring on one of my favorite Disney World podcasters, Mike Rahlmann from the Be Our Guest podcast. I was so excited when Mike said that he'd come on the show and he was so enthusiastic. Well, his show is one of those shows that I listen to the most before starting our show. I don't know, our show seems to be a lot like his show, I think, too. So I was really excited to connect with him and talk Disney World. We have so much personally in common. I was amazed at how many things we talked about where I was like in total agreement. So I loved also that he talked about his listener community. I could totally relate to that. And again, it's something that I think both our podcasts have in common. And so let's talk about his trip report. He went down there. Well, he talked about the Dopey Challenge. So if you guys are runners, Mike's a avid runner also. He talked about his favorite resort, the Coronado Springs. And then the trip report was all about the cheerleading championship for his daughter. I can really relate to that because we saw a lot of dance competitions and people down there that was in January into February. And then he was down there, I think, in May. So yeah, lots of groups going down to Disney World. He stayed for the first time at the B Resort in Disney Springs, which is kind of interesting. That was the very first resort I stayed in back when I went to Disney World for the very first time. He extensively used Uber. He'll talk about that. Then we talk about food. He loves talking about food also. And some of his favorites, he went to Olivia's over at the Old Key West. The Polite Pig, which is one my must-do. I want to do that for my trip. I'm doing the quick service for the G3 in October. So Polite Pig is one of mine on my list. Talks about beating the crowds. Also, the Chicken Guy. I want to try that one down at Disney Springs. The Deluxe Burger. Waffle, egg, and cheese at Sleepy Hollow. There's another one. You know how much I love my egg and cheese sandwiches. Now, I love Sleepy Hollow. That is on my must-do list. The Columbia Harbor House we talk about. Okay, we also talk about his trying to find a place to run in the morning when he was staying down in those Disney Springs resorts. And he has a great story, a great natural bird story I think you're going to enjoy. Do you guys remember when the Blue Angels did flybys down in Disney World? Well, he was there to see that. He was in Epcot at the time. You know, he talked about kind of being solo most of the time because he went off doing his thing. I love how you'll see him talk about meeting his listeners. I really enjoyed that. But his daughter and his wife were doing the championship stuff at the time. He also talks about his flower and garden favorite eats. And then he does get over to the competitions over at ESPN World of Sports. We don't talk about that very much. So it's fun to hear what's going on over at that venue. He talks about this podcast cruise that he's got coming up with his listener community. I think that is awesome. Maybe I'd like to partner with him on that sometime. I know how much our listeners love the Disney cruises. And then we start talking about his favorites. I haven't done this with anybody in a long time, but I wanted to do this with Mike and talking about his favorite resort, character, sit down restaurant, quick service, his favorite meal, favorite ride, a drink, cinnamon buns. What's your favorite cinnamon bun, Mike? And music. He's always had a little internet radio station that we love the music of Disney World. It makes our experience so much better. I ask him his favorite smell. I ask him also something that he misses from Disney World. And of course, what are you looking forward to coming up with all this stuff being built down in Disney World? Well, I wonder if you too will notice how many things Mike and I have in common as we enjoy his trip report and review some of his Disney World favorites. Well, I am always excited to do a trip report, but this time is really special. For me, he's one of my favorite podcasters, someone that I really listened to before I started my podcast and really love his show. So let's bring him on. He's run the Dopey Challenge 4 times and going for number 5 in January. He's a big fan of the Coronado Springs Resort. And most importantly, he's the host and producer of one of the best Disney World fan podcasts. Please give a warm Geek and Family welcome to Mike Rahlmann. Hey, Mike.
Hey, how's it going? Geeking out being here with you today. Thanks for having me.
I'm taking a vacation day. You know what, Mike? My wife and daughter are at Disney World right now.
Something's wrong with this picture because podcasting's awesome and all, but not that awesome.
I know. I'm watching the dogs too, but my daughter graduated from college, so it's a trip for the girls to go do.
Yeah. Well, my daughter graduated from college, but guess what? When she goes, I'm going. So that's how I roll.
Oh, you're rubbing it in, but I'm still having a great time. It's kind of nice to be here all alone, to be honest with you. I'm going to do whatever I want to do.
That's true.
But I'm excited to bring you on and talk about your latest trip. And then I want to get some of your favorites too. But this Dopey Challenge, I don't know that everyone knows what that is, Mike. And I know you're a big runner. So tell me, what's the Dopey Challenge?
So the Dopey Challenge is over the marathon weekend in January down at Walt Disney World. Throughout the year, Run Disney has events. They have a marathon weekend in January, Princess in February, a Star Wars race weekend in April, and then in the fall they have a Wine and Dine race weekend. It's a good excuse to go down to Walt Disney World and say you're doing something healthy, you're running, but typically you're eating twice as many calories as you're burning off. I mean, we all pretend like it doesn't work that way, but it does. So anyway, the marathon weekend's my favorite. It's like the biggest one. It's the oldest race weekend at Walt Disney World. And so they have 4 distances you can run at that one. It's the only weekend that includes a full marathon. So they have a 5K, a 10K, a half marathon, and a full marathon. Right. And if you're stupid enough, or, Disney's really nice, they call it dopey enough. But really, if you're stupid enough to try to run 48.6 miles over a weekend, they give you the opportunity. And that's what I'm right in their wheelhouse there. So I do it every year and have a great time.
That's amazing. And that's a challenge. We got a little run team ourselves, and I know you guys do all kinds of, you have a big community too with your podcast. I think I don't know if I was trying to, Mike, or not, but I think I copied you a lot when I got started. We've been going on for 5 years, but I listened to you guys for a couple of years. I really, really love your show.
Well, you know what? I just copied Matt Hochberg and WDW today in the day, so it all just trickles down. We're 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Listener questions on Wednesdays. Maybe I got some ideas from those guys.
I didn't know. Yeah, I don't think you were doing 3 times when I first started listening to you.
It was actually a April Fool's joke one of the years that we had a 3rd show, and we we're going to answer listener questions on Wednesday. And it's stuck ever since then. Yeah, we've been doing it maybe 5, 6. It's been quite a while that we've been doing 3, but we started with 1 and went to 2 and went to 2 within a couple of months, and then I've been doing 3 for quite a while. I'm amazed that I know. Well, you're doing it like full time though now. Yeah, I mean, I was a teacher. I was an elementary school teacher for 17 years, and worked and started the podcast 11 years ago, just a hobby. And my co-host owns a travel agency, The Magic for Less, and I booked travel on the side for her, for like the last 9 years. But the podcast got big enough that it supported everything, so I was able to set teaching aside after 17 years, work full time podcasting and booking travel, and it's been a great journey. Man, that's a dream of mine too. So, all right, now the Coronado, one of your favorite resorts. Absolutely, it's kind of a funny story because one of the last places I ever thought to stay. We were definitely a Pop Century family. My wife and I are both school teachers for the longest time, and it was one of those places that was just big on value and big on fun for us. We went down the year it opened with my daughter who graduated college a couple weekends ago now. She was only 8 or 9, and we kind of grew up around that resort. It had all the stuff that reminded my wife and I of our childhood. She loved all the characters, the pools, and, we didn't know any better. We were kind of, growing up into Walt Disney World. We didn't know, what the moderates and deluxes had to offer. So we loved it. But then a few years ago, we started trying different things. We've been a few times and landed over at Coronado Springs, and it really does have it all. It has a great pool in the dig site. They've refurbished the rooms. They're amazing. Lots of good on-site dining with table service and counter service, and it's got a central location. And it's just going to get better here in July with the Grand Destino Tower and Toledo's and just, Three Rivers Grill there in the middle. It's going to be, it's just getting better, and I like it already. So I'm excited. I stayed there one time. My daughter did the college program, and I stayed there. I must have got a pretty decent deal just to try it out. And I'm a big fan of the Mexican Pavilion anyway. It kind of reminded me, I know, I think you are too. And you mentioned on the show recently that you did the Mayan Grill. Tell me. That's probably, well, I have a lot of kind of obscure favorite restaurants. Maya Grill at Coronado is one of my favorite. Olivia's at Old Key West, definitely in my top 3. I'm a big Mexican food person here at home, and Maya Grill really kind of hits everything. They have a great margarita flight, great atmosphere, great fajitas, and other options. So, it's kind of a hidden gem over at Coronado. I wrote it down as a must-do. I would go over there to try it because I know I had a listener do a trip report and told me about it, and I didn't do it when I was there. I had one of the best breakfast bowls I've ever had on property there. That one stuck to me. It had the sauce and eggs, and I think there was potatoes at the bottom, but it was huge too. I was like, man. Yeah, I think I had that when I was down there in May. Nice. No, it wasn't in May. It was for Princess, because I stayed there in February for the Princess race weekend, and I definitely know the bowl you're talking about. It was huge, and it was awesome. Well, I'm glad you love talking about food, because that's what we're going to talk about
Mike. And well, first, before we do, I want to talk about the resort that you stayed on. And well, tell me who went to this trip and why you were going and all that jazz.
So we gotta, we are always folks that stay on site. If we have to stay at a value, that's great because it's fine. We have a good time at All Stars, Art of Animation, Pop Century, what have you. But late in the summers, we go longer. We stay at moderates and sometimes deluxes if we can stay a couple nights there. But this trip from this recent one back at the beginning of May, this was, we called it a business trip. It was for my daughter. She's in competitive cheerleading. This is my 11-year-old daughter. And her squad competes around the country throughout the year. Nice. And the ultimate, kind of like the Super Bowl of cheerleading, is at Walt Disney World in May. And it's called the Summit Cheerleading Championship. So all these girls cheer all over the country. And if you win the competition, say in Chicago or Indianapolis or Louisville, Kentucky, what you're going for all year is a bid to get to the Summit Cheerleading Championships held the first week of May down at Walt Disney World. So they were lucky enough, very first competition of the year. They became the grand champion, so they won what was called a paid bid, which meant not only did they get invited to the competition in May at Walt Disney World, they were their tickets, their portion of the hotel, all that was covered.
Oh man, that's sweet.
It was pretty sweet. And then, I was new to cheerleading because she'd done dance, she'd done a few other things. She got on this really good squad. My oldest daughter was an athlete. I coached her in soccer, basketball, all the sports and softball, and so I knew how that worked. I didn't know how cheerleading worked, but all I know is like she goes to the first competition of the year. They come home from the weekend. I think it was outside of Chicago. Yeah, we got the bid. We got a paid bid to Walt Disney World. I'm like, God, I love cheerleading, man. We get to go to Walt Disney World in May. Like I wasn't expecting that. So it was unexpected, but it was a really different focused trip because we were down there for her to cheer.
That's awesome. And where did you stay?
So we ended up staying at the B Resort and Spa, which is a Disney Springs hotel right there on Hotel Plaza Boulevard. It's about 3 hotels down from Disney Springs. Now, we didn't get to pick where we stayed because some of the more senior parents on the squad had done this a couple of years prior, and they'd stayed at All Stars, and they had heard that staying off site you can save some money. And it turns out that I do this for a living. I help people plan trips. Right. It would have been a lot cheaper with all the intangibles to stay at a value resort at Walt Disney World because we had to Uber from the airport and back. We had to Uber around property. Yeah. You don't have Magical Express. You don't have a lot of things. You don't have transportation. This is a big thing. But in the hotel rooms are actually more expensive than a value in the end. So I stayed there and it was an okay hotel, but it would have been a great hotel, say if you were in Kansas or say in Jefferson City, Missouri. But it wasn't, I'm used to a Pop Century or All Stars. So I need that Disney theming and it just didn't have it.
Funny enough, I stayed there my very first trip to Disney World, which was on a conference they called Lotusphere. So I'm a tech guy and I got that opportunity to go down there, and all the hotels around Dolphin and Swan were taken up. And so that's where I stayed. It was called the Downtown Disney Hotels, and it was called the Royal Plaza. I think a hurricane really took that hotel in a bad way. And then when they refurbished it, they called it the B.
Yeah, I did research. It was closed for quite a long time, but it's nice now. It's if you're, down there, it's one of the taller ones. It's got, I think, 16 stories. It's fine. But I think the whole thing is, if it would have been my first trip to Walt Disney World and I hadn't known any better, I probably wouldn't have been so hard on it. But the thing is, I'm a Disney purist. This is, this is what I do. This is what I love. And so I was yearning to be at Pop Center or even All Star Sports. No problem there. It just didn't have the same, like you definitely were not in the bubble. You were just right outside of it.
And I heard you talking about your transportation. What did you do for transportation?
So I met every Uber driver in the Central Florida region and got to know them very well. So I'm hoping that I'd look at my ratings, but I'm hoping I treated them well on the ratings. So hopefully I didn't get deactivated by Uber in the last few days as they made their changes. But no, it was fine. And the thing about Uber is, there's always positives and negatives. And I use it when I stay on site because a lot of times we'll stay at a Riverside and we want to go have dinner at Old Key West. Well, the quickest way is just catch an Uber from hotel to hotel. So we do that to supplement our transportation on our on-site stays. Right. But we're staying at the B. Now, they do have transportation to the parks. It's scheduled. You go to like 6 different hotels. It's a nightmare, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a little slow.
You did hit I paid for it. It's like, probably in the end, by the time you throw in a tip, $10 to $12 every trip you take around world. And it's not that bad once, but we used it everywhere we went. And it's great because you get you get dropped off right up front. You're there quickly. You're directly there, so it's a lot faster than a bus. But we figured we spent between $300 and $400 on Uber rides in 5 days. So it's just money that you don't have to spend otherwise.
I'm surprised that Disney allowed the Uber. I was kind of worried when these services came out, but with Mears was so exclusive.
Yeah, and the minivans now, so they're kind of, it's like a Disney-fied Uber or Lyft system.
Yeah.
But I think that it supplements the problem of transportation. It gives guests another option. I could see them locking them out at some point, but I think for guest satisfaction, it's good to have options.
I think you're right. I think my listeners love it. They talk about it. I mean, I'm kind of cheap, like you say. I'm staying on the property. I take the buses most of the time.
Yeah.
All right, we love talking about food on this podcast, Mike, and I know you do. I listened to what you did, and I'm actually excited. Again, I wrote down some must-dos that I heard that you did, and you did mostly quick service, didn't you? We had Olivia's, we had Maya Grill while we were there a couple of the nights, but yeah, we spent some time in Disney Springs and hit some of the quick service places there, like Polite Pig and Deluxe Burger, and we tried out Chicken Guy. So yeah, we were around the kind of 50-50. I want to hit them individually a little bit. So I know Olivia's too. I heard you say that, and you just said that it's one of your favorites. So tell everybody where Olivia's is and why it's your favorite or one of your favorites.
Yes, it kills me to get out here and just preach about this place because it's kind of a hidden gem, and I hope it stays that way. I just think that maybe just the Disney community will know about it and nobody else because we're just a small portion. But it is it's the table service restaurant at Disney's Old Key West Resort, and it is just, to me, it's like it's just comfortable. It's comfort food. My favorite dish there is buttermilk chicken with mashed potatoes and green beans. It's nothing fancy, and that's kind of my jam. I'm like a Cracker Barrel, fancy Cracker Barrel to me at Disney World's Homecoming. I could eat that all day. That kind of Southern comfort food is really where I'm at, and Old Key West really celebrates that. Now, they have fish and they have other seafood, and they have steak and a really good hamburger. But I think everybody's gonna find something that's really good, and that the service is impeccable. Yeah. And Old Key West is beautiful. You just got to get over there.
It's got the vibe too of the reggae music. I'm with you. Our friends, Auntie Judy and and Ken, I know that they had a really good lunch menu too. And Ken wanted to have the lunch, but they were at dinner and they actually served it for him. It was like a huge salad. My wife both had the salad. I'm trying to remember. I'm forgetting what it was, but anyways. And then I know Judy had the prime rib, which she raved about. And I was so excited. My gosh, we are so alike, Mike. I'm glad we did that intro. That is actually funny because I love that comfort food. I talk about that. I love the relaxed kind of places. Like Grand Floridian's not my style. Like I am totally, I sat down and it wasn't on the menu and he said, "Oh, the specials today are ribs." I went, "Yeah, I'll have that." Everyone looked at me and were like, "Yeah, I know what he's having."
Yeah, here's your menu back. And
that was quick.
Exactly. And then you gotta love place. Yeah. Well, you mentioned too, lunch is good and breakfast is solid there too. I mean, really, all 3 meals really good. So, if you're a Disney fan, you're listening to the show, you know what's going on. If you've never given it a shot, I think that it's worth the trip. I know a lot of people don't stay at Old Key West. It's primarily DVC, but we stay there on cash often just because we like the resort. Give it a shot someday.
Awesome. And I think it's a great idea to venture out, especially if you're a fan of Uber. But
easy.
Did you try Sebastian's yet over at the Caribbean Beach?
I haven't. We actually, my buddy Scott and I over a marathon weekend, we were running and he came, actually he wasn't signed up, but he saw me and got some FOMO and jumped on a plane from Michigan and came down because I was staying by myself. I was like, I got another, come on down. I got the room, 2 beds. Yeah. So he hopped down and we headed over to Caribbean Beach the day after the marathon. So I had just run 26 miles. He had run the half the day before. And we were going to go over there and try it out. But then all of a sudden, I don't know why I was delusional because I just finished the dopey. But we ended up at the outlet mall at the character place. Okay. And it was a nightmare. I don't know why we decided I think it's because we were trying to save money for our families. We were buying souvenirs because we knew we had to go home the next day. And we're like, well, let's go get some cheap souvenirs. Yeah. That didn't work out well. It was a nightmare. But yeah, we almost got to go there, but I'm going to definitely swing by there. We're going back in a couple weeks. So check it out on the trip.
I think you'll like it. I think you'll see some. Yeah. And I know I never ate at the restaurant that was there previous, but I really like the change they've done at Caribbean Beach too. I think they've upped that game big time. All right. I want to ask, this is one that keeps coming up and I missed this one. I walked by, I was there with my daughter again. She was doing the college program. She was doing the employee, getting ready kind of stuff. I walked over to Disney Springs. The Polite Pig had just opened up. Now, the only reason I didn't go in there is because the water and Jock Lindsay's just called my name too loud. I couldn't stay because the Polite Pig is right near the garage. I was like, I love barbecue. And so I miss it. Now everyone keeps talking about it, and I heard it on your show. So tell me what's so great about the Polite Pig?
So I think the thing about that place is it radiates good smells. I mean, if you like barbecue, I think it's kind of like walking past the bakery on Main Street, I think it's real. I mean, it smells amazing.
I love that.
And again, I think a lot of folks, tend to like barbecue and that kind of food. And, we needed something to eat. It smelled really good. My wife and I had not been there, and we looked at the menu and it sounded like a place we'd enjoy. So we went in, and it's a really cool vibe because it's a counter service place. They do bring the food to you once you order up at the registers, but they have a lot, if you're somebody who likes to have a drink, they have mixed drinks on tap. They have beers. We just had sodas because we had we were there for Mallory, but just a really cool place. We sat kind of out on the patio and watched people go by in Disney Springs, and tore up half a chicken and some baked beans. I mean, that's a good Thursday night right there.
I'm loving it. It's totally on my must do. I'm down in October. I'm going.
Yeah, you got to do it. It's really, it's hard to say it's under the radar because, man, when you walk past, you're like, oh, God, that's so good.
It's right there if you park at the garage.
But I think a lot of people do exactly what you say. You come in right by the garage, you walk right past it and never go. And so give it a shot.
The other one is kind of a new one. Oh, actually, the Polite Pig, you said there was a long line there?
There was that night. The whole Disney Springs was packed that night. So I think that was just part of it. It was a lot of, it was really busy because cheerleaders and their parents were there from all corners of the globe, and it was just super busy. And something was going on. Disney Springs was unusually crowded for a weeknight.
So we went in January into February, Mike, my wife and our good friend Judy and Ken. I get to the airport in Hartford. I'm like, we're there like crack of dawn. I mean, it's still dark out, and the line at Southwest is huge. I'm like, I'm not making it out yet. What's going on? Because I didn't expect it. And come to find out, it was a cheerleading squad or a dance. It probably was a dance squad now that I'm thinking, because you're talking about the cheerleaders now in May. And they were from UMass. And I was, oh boy. So we were right by getting in line with all these cheerleaders. And then down there, it was dance competitions, but they had them for I was talking to listeners into March, and they were still having these competitions.
Oh, yeah, because they have all different levels. Mallory's was the championships for her level, but the week before, instead of Summit, it's called Worlds, and that's for the most elite of the cheerleaders, high school and college age, and almost like professional. So I think that's one of the things in the last decade Disney has really done well, is they've taken, we have a week, like you said, into January, going into February, not a whole lot going on, not a really popular time for people to travel. Yep. Let's throw either a race in there, that gets 25, 30,000. Let's throw in a cheerleading or dance competition or a soccer tournament, or, they fill it up constantly now with different events. It's kind of amazing.
I was shocked at the crowds, Mike, because we started going in January for this conference, and my wife would come down and she would hang out in the parks and it was so great. But you are absolutely right. The other thing, they had a lot of international people in there, in the tour guides, the Brazilian tour kids and Argentina and Israel. Everybody was there. I tell people now, I know you do the travel thing. So it's like they ask, when's the best time to go to beat the crowds? And I say, that's not the question to ask. You just need strategies how to beat the crowds.
Yeah, it's that. I mean, the number one rules, if you can go when a majority of the kids are in school, that gives you kind of step one. It's not going to guarantee anything, but, also look at what works. At this point, look at what works best with your schedule. What makes sense for you, instead of trying to find because it used to be, go that week after Labor Day. Well, if that doesn't fit into your schedule, that's not a good time to go, even though the crowds may be a little lower.
Now, I want to go back to Disney Springs because you did another one that is kind of new, and I'm excited to try the chicken guy. Yeah,
it was interesting because I have two daughters that are super picky about their food, and one of the things, even the oldest that just graduated college, she still doesn't eat much, and she does eat chicken strips, and so she would love this place. But it's by Guy Fieri. I'm not a big Food Network or any, I don't watch the cooking shows or networks or anything, but he's kind of a big deal, and it's chicken strips, real nice, tasty ones. They had chicken salads and all kinds of chicken sandwiches, but it's basically just a simple kind of chicken counter service place. You grab your food, you can eat inside or outside. The trick is, like, their gimmick is they have lots of sauces. I think over 20 different kinds of sauces, and you get a couple or maybe 3 with your meal. You can buy extras. It's just a lot of fun. I think it's great because I said this on my show, but I really believe in this. If you have picky eaters, you have 3 solid options at Disney Springs. You got Blaze Pizza, which is pretty inexpensive, and you can just, like, picky eater can get a cheese pizza, pepperoni pizza, or you can make it as fancy as you want.
Yeah.
You have deluxe burger. If they'll eat a burger, that's pretty good and simple. Chicken Guy for chicken. So I'm glad that even though we have all these places like STK and the Boathouse and Homecoming that are very fancy and good, and I love those places, if you got picky eaters, you also have options there too, which I think for the families, that's important.
Yeah, I'll just add in the Earl sandwich too. But
love Earl. See, that's the problem. There's so many good places to eat. I haven't had my holiday sandwich in over a year. Oh,
oldie but a goodie. But yeah, those are, man. What do you think? I gotta ask you, what do you think of Disney Springs?
You know what? It's strange because I am not a person who likes to go to the mall or shop or anything. I like to get a T-shirt every now and then, maybe a hat while I'm at Walt Disney World.
Right.
I know, like, I just happen to come upon things like throughout the week, and I don't shop, I buy. Like I want the hat, I go buy it, and I'm out. I'm not like looking around.
I get it.
But I have a wife and 2 daughters. They love to shop, so a lot of times I'm in there with them. Disney Springs is a pleasant experience because not only do they have great dining, they have great snacking. Things like Sprinkles cupcakes, Ghirardelli's, just you get the poutine, whatever. There's all kinds of snacks, the ganachery. But then you also have good shopping, and I like the World of Disney. I like the redesign. But more importantly, I think that they've gotten in the last year is the live entertainment. I love the singers, love people playing like a dirigible or whatever the thing from like Survivor. People like doing a solo guitar or like a jazz sax. Speaking of the intro, but I mean, it's a pleasant place to be. There's lots of water. It's not as uncomfortable, I think, as it used to be is downtown Disney. It just seems more open and inviting. Go to the Coke store. It's kind of fun. Go up to the roof, have a sample, and look down at everybody. I think it's got, if it's winning over somebody like me, that's saying something because I'd rather be in the theme parks, but I do enjoy my time at Springs now.
My wife is the same way. I could never get her down to downtown Disney, but Disney Springs is pulling her down there a little bit. And I'm with you, like an acoustic guy playing some Jimmy Buffett there, and my wife and daughter are doing shopping and stuff. I'm totally cool. Grab a beer. Man, I like getting down there like 3:00 so that I can beat the crowds a little bit and go to the lounges and stuff. So yeah, we're huge fans now.
I totally agree. And I think that this is one of those things where, like, the competition of Central Florida is benefiting both because I think that City Walk was, over at Universal and I got to visit this and do some work over there last spring. And it's got a cool vibe to it. And I think that maybe Disney took some of the things City Walk was doing really well and incorporated those into Springs. And now Springs obviously exceeds City Walk in every way, I think, dining, shopping, entertainment. But I just like the back and forth of the 2 major players there because I think it makes both of them better.
Did you try the Void yet?
I have not. No. My wife was actually asking about this on this last week. She's like, "What's it all about? What do you do?" So I was like, "I should have done it because that was basically I had the permission, but I'm kind of a tightwad." So I said maybe some other time, because I think we'll get more people. We like when we're down there in a couple weeks, we're doing a big podcast cruise, and there's going to be lots and lots of folks from our community there. So maybe we can spring in and do a group thing. That's what I'm hoping.
Awesome, man. All right, I'm going to stay on some food, but you mentioned Deluxe Burger. Did you try it again this time?
Yeah, I've loved that place since I was fortunate enough to get to go down for a media event when they kind of relaunched Disney Springs, rebranded it, and they it was a really cool thing that for the media they gave us these passes, and you got to eat anywhere you wanted in Disney Springs. Just you got coupons, you just had to redeem them.
Nice.
So I was like, oh, okay, this is like, God, I mean, pinch me. This is a dream? I know some of the people that have been doing podcasts forever, like this is just normal. I was like, this is not normal. This is too cool. So that was one of the first places I headed to is Deluxe Burger, and just really dug in and loved it the first time, and I've been back many times since. I just think that they do the burger well. They have great fries, but it's something that it's not a huge commitment. You go in, you get your burger, fries, boom, you eat it, and you can move on. I think, even with the Boathouse, I love the Boathouse. but it's a time commitment and it's a financial investment. It's expensive. So, and also the good thing right now is over at Deluxeburg, only place you can mobile order Springs as of right now. I don't know. It's probably changed very soon, but I'm a huge fan of the mobile ordering. Just take all the variables out, pick up your food, and get out of there.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I wrote it down. I was going to pick that up too. They have a lot of dips for your fries too, don't they?
Yeah, they have some really good sauce. I'm a big sauce guy. Yeah. It's like, I'm like a 6-year-old, I swear. It's like, give me some, like donkey sauce was the sauce over at Chicken Guy. I love that.
We got a lot of favorites that are the same, Mike. I'm loving this. You talked about a place in Sleepy Hollow for breakfast, because I've talked about this too. I'm huge on egg sandwiches and breakfast sandwiches, and Disney World's kind of lacking in that to my mind. And when you were about to say this, I know there's one in Frontierland I noticed last time I was down. There's an egg sandwich in the cart there, which I was like, thank God. You mentioned one over at Sleepy Hollow. What was that one that you had?
I'm a person who gets up first thing in the morning and I go for a long run every day. It's just kind of my thing. So when I need breakfast, like I got to have protein. And I did a couple mornings go back in Gaston's Tavern and have like a cinnamon roll. Love that thing. It's so huge. It's so good. And a Coke Zero. But I mean, this morning I was like, I just need something more than that. And Sleepy Hollow did have a nice option. It was a waffle with a waffle sandwich. It had an egg, ham, tomato, and cheese. And that thing, because the thing is that when you're at Walt Disney World and you're going to be in the parks for a while, you want something that's going to stick with you and sustain you. As good as a cinnamon roll is maybe from the bakery or Gaston's, for somebody like me, it burns off at like 10 o'clock and then I'm starving again. It's like I just want to keep going and I need something that'll sustain me at least till lunch. So
I always talk that Disney World's a place of extremes. It's either you're starving to death or you're stuffed.
That's true. That's exactly 100%.
I love that. You also mentioned one of my favorite. I'm wearing my T-shirt, the Columbia Harbor House upstairs crew right now. But is there anything at the Columbia Harbor House you kind of like?
I really like everything on the menu at Columbia Harbor House. And one of the jokes with my family is that I'm not allowed to have seafood unless we're at Walt Disney World or on the cruise, because my girl's wife, 2 daughters, they can't stand it. They don't like the smell of it. They don't like anything. But they will go to Columbia Harbor House for me and they'll get chicken. And so I go to Columbia Harbor House, get a lobster roll, or sometimes like in the wintertime, I like their clam chowder because I don't get that at home. Just shrimp. I think it's just basic. To me, it's just basic counter service food. It's really nothing to write home about, but it's kind of the atmosphere. Like you said, upstairs looking down on Fantasyland or the Haunted Mansion. It gives you like a time to debrief, like you're, I gotta de-stress. Like this has been crazy. We're going to sit down, we're going to eat, we're going to watch people pass under us and then kind of catch your breath and go on from there.
Nice. Yeah, that's one of our favorites. Absolutely. And the lobster roll for true is one of my favorites.
Me too.
All right. We didn't lie about that in our intro then.
Nope.
Talking about some of the things that you never did before. And I know you were talking about you're a runner. What was it like trying to find a place to run where you were staying this time?
Yeah, so this was a kind of a challenge because if you think about it, most of the Walt Disney World resorts are really runner friendly, especially the Valleys and the Moderates. They have walking paths that are great for running. They're very wide. You're not going to get in anybody's way, especially if you get up. I try to get up and run before it gets light outside because it just gets hot fast.
Yeah.
But this time, we're staying down in Hotel Plaza Boulevard. And so I was like, okay, where am I going to run? And I came up with a Google Earth map saying, okay, if I run through Disney Springs, there's a little golf cart path that'll take me through to Old Key West. And I know my way around Old Key West. We stay there a lot. I'll run there. Yeah. Well, it didn't work out well. And I ended up finding a path that took me into Saratoga Springs. And that was a great place to run. It was beautiful and it was nice, wide path. So I ended up there and it worked well. But it was either that or the treadmill at the B. And I just, I hate to not enjoy a good Florida sunrise every morning when I'm there. So went over to Saratoga.
You and me too. But you told an awesome story on one of your runs over at Saratoga Springs.
Oh, not the fish story, right?
Yeah, the fish story.
All right, so the fish story. I hope this is true because I could have been hallucinating, but I think I was because it's almost too good to be true. I was like, this did.
I have a similar story from Florida.
Oh my God. It was gone before I could get my phone out, and I just had my phone right there in my pouch. But I was running by one of the big lakes with the big fountain in the middle. Sun was coming up. I mean, it was one of those things, listening to a podcast, like I was on my run, just really enjoying life. I'm like, it's a Thursday morning. I'm at Walt Disney World. It's 6 o'clock. Sun's coming up. God, life is good. This is awesome. Right. Listen to podcasts. I love it. Yeah. Everything I like. And so one of the things I love about Walt Disney World is the wildlife, the birds, the frogs, the lizards, everything, they're all over the place.
Absolutely.
So there's big, beautiful white bird. I mean, like a crane or I don't know, something, but it's like, huge white bird just kind of hanging out of some. Well, he flies around, swoops down into the lake and just catches this fish. And I mean, it's a pretty big fish. It was probably about 9 inches long or so. Scooped him up out of the water, and this fish was, no kidding, facing forward, just like a missile hanging from an F-15 and heading towards the nest. I was like, and it flew right over my head. I was like, and I mean, it was aligned perfectly. The fish wasn't wiggling. It was just like there, like it was on a mission, like it was a missile under the bird and just heading over towards the golf course. And I'm like,
that's awesome.
Did I just see that? Like that fish was just chilling because he's like, it's a Thursday morning. It's sunrise. I'm just getting ready to, maybe I'll catch a couple bugs or something on the top of the water, have some breakfast. And next thing he knows, he's in the claws of a bird heading for a nest. I mean, what a day.
That is a great story. Yes, I love the wildlife. My son played college baseball and he was down in Fort Myers. We were at this was the Red Sox old player development fields that they had. Fort Myers, we're sitting there and the same kind of thing. We didn't see him catch it, but this bird, like hawk, was parked in the lights and he came over with this fish and nobody was watching the game now. Everyone's watching this bird feed her babies and parts would fall off from the pole and stuff, all guts and stuff and everything. But it was a huge fish. I remember because we were near the ocean there.
Yeah, kids throwing a perfect game and everybody watching the bird.
I love that story. You saw something else that I thought was really interesting. You were going over to Flower and Garden and you were talking about the flyovers.
Yeah. About a week out before we were heading down, I saw that the first full day we were going to be there, the Blue Angels were heading to an air show, I believe, in southern Florida, which I guess Disney, I mean, you got the Blue Angels or F-18s. They don't have to go by Central Florida to go to South Florida because they're based out of Pensacola. Yeah. But I'm sure that Disney said, you know what, how about you fly over Epcot for us? So they did. And I got to go over there and huge crowd of people right there outside of Spaceship Earth and got to meet a bunch of our listeners there. It was kind of cool. Just got to see they did 2 passes and it was amazing because I was standing by there was a official photographer for the Blue Angels there with a Disney rep, and he had a walkie or like a CB or not CB, 70s, like a walkie-talkie or some kind of communications with the jets, and you just heard parking lot, and it was and they were past us. I mean, because they were trying to give you some landmarks where they were. But it was beautiful because the first time they came into the Delta 5, all tight together over Spaceship Earth, the next time they all waved out and it was with their smoke trails. And nice. I'm a patriotic person, love flight. And so it was kind of the perfect match of 2 worlds, military aircraft and Walt Disney World.
Nice. Yeah, they probably went over Main Street too, I think. I saw people chatting about that.
I think they did. I mean, they probably could just bank them right there and just kind of go all over probably. It's like, okay, we're do 2 passes. Let's go over the Magic Kingdom on the way over. Yeah, it was cool.
I love it. So one of the questions I usually ask on my trip reports is, what did you do for the first time? And I know one thing you were talking about that sounded like a lot of fun. You were kind of solo on this trip to some extent, right?
Yeah, it was a lot because the girls had requirements they got there. They weren't allowed to go into they had because it's pretty intense cheerleading gym. And so they were not allowed to go into the parks until they had competed. They got there a couple days early. They had practices down there. They had meetings, as far as getting their heads right for the performances. And so I'm like, heck with that. Because, it's basically cheer moms and their daughters, and they get a little crazy when they get up to competition. So I'm like, I'll meet you when they compete, and I'll see you this afternoon. We can go to Disney Springs. We can get some lunch or dinner. But I was like, I'm getting up super early. I'm going to go to the park. So yeah, I did a lot of solo touring, which I'm really comfortable with. I've learned that in the past, 5 or 6 years with, going down for media stuff for the podcast and race weekends. Sometimes I got to go by myself. My wife can't get off. She's a teacher.
Yeah.
And so it's really freeing. I mean, it was intimidating at first, but if you just look at it as like, this is gravy time in the parks. I mean, you can really get a lot done.
Do whatever you want. So you mentioned a couple of things. I didn't write them all down, but what were some of the things kind of like, because you were alone, you were able to do that you normally probably didn't get a chance to do?
I really focused on Epcot and Magic Kingdom while I was there, and just was there at park opening each morning. And I think a lot of your listeners understand this. Like, you've been on the attractions so many times. I've been very lucky in that I've done a lot of the attractions a lot. So I just like soaking in the atmosphere at park opening, really taking it in. I did go over, do soaring right as it opened. So I was right one of the first people on that. And then, took in, Flower and Garden, went and had some snacks and went back to France and had breakfast. And it's just, it's one of those things, it's like gravy. So just, it's like I said, it was like a Wednesday, Thursday, Tuesday morning. And, instead of working, I'm walking around a theme park. Like this is life. I think that we can do a lot of attractions, but you don't necessarily need to do it to have a good time.
Absolutely. Would you have any favorites at the Flower and Garden?
I did. I enjoyed back in Japan. They had a seared tuna that was on some noodles that was super good. And they had a flatbread that had chicken on it and some kind of a citrusy, I'm not a foodie at all, but some kind of a citrus glaze or something. It was right there, near the Butterfly House as you go from Future World to World Showcase towards Canada, and it was very solid.
Nice.
It's one of those things like I could have tried everything. I just I had limited time and limited funds, so you do what you can. But it was good. Everything I had was really good.
Do you like do you get a chance to see some of the entertainment in Epcot?
I like the kind of the more permanent entertainment that they have. I really, and I know this is kind of dumb, but I like the guy in Italy that has the whistle and doesn't ever say a word, but he communicates through whistling to people. He'll have, folks throw a ball in a net, or he'll have people, do this trick with a rope. I've seen the guy stack the chairs in France and get on top of those. He makes me a nervous wreck. Like, he's going to bite it right here.
And he does it all the time. Imagine how many, like 6 times a day.
Exactly. And I asked myself, like, okay, so there are times I go to work, and I do my work, and I'm not having I'm having an off day, but I'm still, I'm just like, suck it up, Mike, and get your work done. Yeah. I mean, what if you're having a really bad day and you're like, oh, man, I got to pull that 7 o'clock shift. I got to stand on 12 uneven chairs, with people cheering me on. Like I can't imagine you can have a bad day if you're the chair stacking guy.
I totally with you. I appreciate that every time I see him do it, because I know he's doing it like 6 or 7 times. Look at the program.
If it's that, it seems dangerous to me every single time, but it must not be. I don't know. It scares the crap out of me.
Was anyone in the Canadian pavilion for music? Do you remember? Because they change it up all the time.
And plus I was there, most of the times I was there in Epcot in the morning. So, all the entertainment kicks in 4 o'clock.
Yeah. Talking about the sports complex there, did you get a chance to get over there and watch the competition? How'd the competitions go?
Competitions went great. They have actually, if you've been to ESPN the last couple of years, they built a whole new building, a whole new competition venue for the cheerleaders and dancers right there at the entrance. So there used to be two places in the back called the Jostin Center and the Milk House. I think they've got new corporate names now, but that's what we called them back in the day. There's 2 major venues where they play basketball. They can make them for multi-purpose buildings, basketball courts, volleyball, all kinds of stuff. But they've added the third out front now, and that's where Mallory's group cheered, and it's amazing. I mean, it's like a small sports venue, kind of like a hockey arena or something like that, and all the seats are great. They had, I think, 6 stages going on simultaneously, and you didn't hear music bleeding from one to the other. And
wow,
it's a logistical miracle how they pull these things off. Because literally, I think there were 13,000 cheerleaders there with their families, and everybody was kind of getting where they needed to be. It was crazy, but yeah, it was a great place to watch.
My gosh, how'd the team do?
They came in 4th in the country, so not too bad. Because
nice.
31 teams out of the country qualified to get to go to Summit out of her age group and skill level. So 3,000 tried, 31 made it to World, and then I think 10 made it to Sunday to the finals, and they came in 4th. So they were pretty excited. Of course they wanted to come in first, but what are you going to do? They came in 4th, so that wasn't too bad.
I'd take that.
That's what I said. You got a big prize if you came in 1st, 2nd, or 3rd. You got a banner to hang, like those banners that hang in the gym. Well, they got individual ones if they came in 1st, 2nd, or 3rd. So of course they came in 4th. I'm but all in all, not bad.
Was that their first time competing there?
That was the first time for my daughter. She had joined the squad this year, but her squad has made it the last few years. But this is definitely the best finish they've ever had. So they're really excited.
Awesome, because of your daughter.
I hope so. She's a tall thing, so she's a good back spot. I'll say that. She's not a flyer because I'm 6'3" and she's gaining on me quickly at 11. People think she's like a teenager, and I'm like, no, she is 11 years old, and she has a 22-year-old sister, so she thinks she's in college, but she's a kid.
Hey, I got to ask you, you mentioned meeting listeners, Mike. That's one of my favorite things to do too when I'm down there. And how do you kind of go about it? And do you chat with people, and how does it kind of happen? Do you have any favorite stories from this past trip?
Yeah, I mean, we have so many stories just of meeting listeners and having a great time with our community. Our community is amazing. We get together every year and we do a 12-hour live show for Give Kids the World and raise money for them. And the generosity and support of our listeners is just unbelievable to me. I still can't believe it. And we've come together. We've done a lot of great things. We're having our 5th podcast group cruise here at the end of June, beginning of July. So we have good times there. I love meeting our listeners. We're having a big meetup July 4th at Epcot with our listeners. And it's one of those things that, and you know this as a podcaster, as we're sitting here recording and you're putting your notes together for your shows and show ideas and so forth. It's pretty much a lot of times a solo endeavor or just a small group endeavor with your crew.
Yeah.
And you hope people listen and I listen to many, many podcasts and I know how much they mean to me. So I hope that, I don't know that our show would mean as much to other people, but it does. It's weird because you throw it out there and you just kind of hope. But then when somebody goes out of their way at Walt Disney World, because Walt Disney World, time goes so fast and it's so valuable. If somebody takes 15 minutes to come by and say hello and say they listen to the show, can we get a picture? That means the world to me because you listen to our show and you took the time out of your trip to come say hi and thanks, sometimes say thanks for the show. It's awesome. And here's the biggest thing. I love it because my wife is like, wow, somebody really does listen to your show. And that makes my day because she's like, oh my gosh, she's getting more used to it now. But the first time somebody came up, she's like, oh my gosh, this is weird. This is crazy. Somebody listens. I was like, yeah, I told you somebody listens. I got 7 downloads today. Come on.
I love that. Where are you meeting in Epcot, Mike?
We're meeting on the 4th of July at Japan. This is kind of the biggest, widest spot of World Showcase promenade there. So we're going to meet there at 8 o'clock before the fireworks, hang out and watch some big booms. Nothing says 4th of July like Japan in Epcot. So there you go.
Perfect spot.
That's pretty much us. Yeah.
We're going to do our meetup in October. We're calling ours the Grand Geeking Gathering, the G3 in October. We've got a listener, and this is the other thing too. I'm sure you got people all over the world. It was so cool to see someone from across the pond and the Isle of Wight. This guy, he hasn't gone for several years, and so we've been pushing this one pretty hard. Probably have 30 or 40 people for sure going to be hanging out, but we're going to do the Mexican Pavilion.
Oh, that's a good idea. That's a great spot. Yeah, that's
11 a.m. too, right when they.
Oh yeah, but I was at Mexico on this trip for the Cinco de Mayo, and people were definitely rope dropping Cava del Tequila. It was crazy.
I heard you say that. Yeah, man, I was like, oh my gosh, he is so much like me because that's been like the margaritas at the Mexican Pavilion. That was something my wife and I talked about way before, and she was like, every time we were there, we'd be raving. These are the best margaritas ever.
I think it's just the atmosphere too. It's one of those things where. You're on vacation, you're having a good time. And I always get a margarita. Probably Run Disney frowns on this officially, but my buddy and I, when we finish Dopey and we cross that line on the last Sunday, we always have our loved ones meet us with a margarita in Epcot so that we can go the last half mile as we're chugging a frozen margarita. It's amazing. After you run 26 miles, you get pretty drunk by the time you hit that finish line because you're dehydrated.
Yeah, right.
Margarita did me in. I was like, it did me in like 15 minutes. He's like, you haven't had water for the last 5 hours and you've run miles.
Gosh, you probably got a smile finishing up that race.
Oh yeah. It's like, it helps kill all that pain in your legs.
Even if you haven't sweated it all out, it's quite a buzz coming out.
I'm telling you, I was like, woo, this thing's
holy cow. Oh my gosh, you're so funny. All right. So it's a pretty good trip then for a short one, right?
Yeah, not bad. But what it has me excited for is this trip in a couple of weeks where we're staying on site. We're doing the podcast cruise. I mean, it's really the epic ultimate trip that we do every other year. We do a podcast cruise. And that's the best because you get to get out to sea, kind of disconnect, and you're hanging 24/7 with friends from your show who, a lot of these. It started out as like podcast listeners, but really these are my best friends because this is our 5th one. A lot of these folks have gone on all the cruises with us.
Oh, yeah.
We see each other outside of the parks. We'll meet for Memorial Day. We'll meet some places in Indianapolis, kind of in between our homes. And, our families have kind of become intertwined. And so the opportunity to sail with Disney Cruise Line and then, vacation down at Walt Disney World before and after, it's a blessing. And these are truly my best friends. I mean, we're so lucky and I'm so excited to get down there into this month.
Where's the cruise going to?
We're just doing a 5-night double dip to Castaway Cay. So we like Castaway Cay, and we raise money for Give Kids the World by running the 5K on Castaway Cay twice. We have some medals that we give out to our runners that are there on the cruise with us, and then we do a virtual race for those that on our running team that can't the cruise. So it's kind of fun. Big team event.
Gosh. Wow. That's awesome. And then you're staying on property a little bit too?
Yeah, we're staying. We're going down a couple days before. I like to be there just kind of get in that vacation state of mind. So we're going down a couple days before, staying at Riverside, another one of my favorite places. My daughters love, and my wife, the Royal Guest Rooms. We're going to stay there. Yeah. We're going to take the cruise, and then we're going to come back from the 3rd to the 7th. Around the 4th of July, we're staying at Yacht Club, so we can. Nice. After the 4th of July madness, we can just walk right out of Epcot to our room. And then we had to tag on a couple extra days because one of our crew is celebrating a milestone birthday while we're there. So we're celebrating that on the 7th. So I had to add a couple days at Boardwalk so we can be there for all the festivities. So excited for that too. Boardwalk's one of my favorites.
Oh, that's an epic trip, Mike. This is awesome.
Well, it wasn't supposed. It's one of those things. Just like, well, we got to add 2 nights at Boardwalk because Pam's celebrating a birthday, and we're going to do some stuff. And that's like, gotcha. Sometimes you got to get back, get to work. I kind of hate being gone this long, but it's a friend's birthday. What are you going to do? You got to be a good friend. So
yeah, you got to. That's awesome. And let's see. I'm going to get ready to do some of these favorites. We're going to finish out. We kind of rapid through them. You ready?
All right. Ready to go.
Well, we've been talking about this, but I'm not sure I know just from the short talk. But what's your favorite resort?
Favorite resort overall? I think we said this at the top. It's probably a tie between Riverside and Coronado now. With me, favorites can be just the last thing I did because I'm so good on these things.
And that's okay. I'm not holding you to it, Mike. If you change your mind tomorrow, it's fine. Favorite character?
Favorite character? That's easy. Buzz Lightyear.
Oh, yeah. Really? Yeah. How come Buzz?
I spent some time working at space camp for educators, and I've always been a space junkie. So I kind of see myself as Buzz. I worked down there. When we worked at space camp in Alabama, we wore the flight suits. We ran the space missions. We had the teachers running through those with us, and it was it's kind of like a big, tall guy who thought he could fly, but really just I kind of fell with grace or whatever. So.
All right. I'm gonna give you can cheat on this one. I want to see if I can find out your top 3 sit-down restaurants.
Well, Olivia's makes the list. Let's see.
That's what made me think of it because you said that it was in the top 3.
The ones that I always, don't miss on a trip are Maya Grill and Olivia's, and I also really, really enjoy. Lately, I've really enjoyed Garden Grill for breakfast, especially. It's a good character meal, a lot of fun. And honorable mention Beer Garden. I really like that too.
You like the buffets?
I do.
All right. We are so much alike. Oh boy.
Hey man, I gotta go back and get a little more of that.
Tell me you love Ohana too.
Oh yeah, I do. The thing is, we went there after the marathon with a big group of the runners this past January, and I was down there. I went by. No, this was actually Princess. Oh well, my family wasn't there, so I'm trying to think. Oh, I went solo. Yeah, okay, so it's January. Not that it matters. We went with a big group of people, and the thing is, I liked Ohana. But man, is that one getting expensive. I had a lot of food and I had just run 48 miles and whatever. I was starving. But the thing was okay. It was still $60. And I know Walt Disney World dining is expensive, but that one just kind of hit me
I've been doing the meal plan lately, so I didn't notice.
That's a bonus. I was not on the meal plan because of how I had my hotel for the quick weekend. But if I'd have been on the dining plan, steal. But when you're paying that $60 for one person, you're glad the family's not here.
For real. All right. Favorite quick service, and you can throw a couple at me.
Yeah, quick service. Let me think. I do like Sunshine Seasons over at Epcot. There's a wide variety of things, and they have really good hidden, a lot of desserts. I like the whoopie pie there. I also like France, the patisserie back there for a counter service breakfast because I always get a sweet there, like an eclair, along with a breakfast sandwich with eggs or something, or croissant. Yeah. Trying to think. I do like Backlot Express over at the studios. Not much to eat there. That's really
I don't know if I've heard that. Yeah.
That's about it.
I have a friend that works there.
Oh, really?
So love to hear that.
I know a lot of people don't, but I enjoy it. It kind of reminds me of the old Hollywood Studios.
All right.
And you know what? Of course, Satuli Canteen over at Animal Kingdom definitely has the best counter service with Flame Tree.
Yeah, I agree.
Yak and Yeti, Satuli Canteen. Yeah, if you want, that's the place to go if you're looking for counter service.
I'm with you there. Do you have a favorite meal?
Favorite meal? I guess I would right now the buttermilk chicken at Olivia's. I'm craving that. Yeah,
you're making me hungry. I know you talked about an ice cream place. What's your favorite ice cream on property?
So Ample Hills is my go-to. I went there twice on maybe 2 or 3 times when I was down in May.
I heard you say that.
Because they have this, and I know that they actually have locations in the Northeast because my listeners tell me, I was in Ample Hills 10 minutes from my house. I'm like, oh God, I'd be 500 pounds if that was the case because we don't have them here in the Midwest. But it's something about the ice cream. I don't know what they put in it. I don't want to know. It's just really good. But they do have ooey gooey butter cake ice cream, which ooey gooey butter cake is a St. Louis thing, and that's where I'm from. So we kind of grow up with that. It's like a really big treat. It's just super sweet and super good, and they put it in ice cream. So, and they've actually plussed it at this last time I was there. They had a red velvet cake ooey gooey butter cake ice cream. So it was not only, and this is what my wife says, you know, can't just be this. You know, today's society, you gotta have, you gotta have fajitas with like a hamburger on top. You know. It's one of those things like they put red velvet cake in the ooey gooey butter ice cream on a cone. God, it's heaven. It's so good. I don't want the calories.
Love it. Hey, favorite ride?
Favorite ride all time, and this one hurts me physically and emotionally. It's Space Mountain. I love it because again I'm a space fan and I love roller coasters that aren't insane. We went to Six Flags here at home a couple weeks ago.
Right.
My wife and I did some of the extreme coasters, and we're like, that's the last time we'll ever do that. We've hit that age where we don't need to, like, we were on it, like, is this safe? Like, should we be going this fast? Are we going to come off the rails? So that's why we like Disney. You know, the ride's comfortable, and but Space Mountain, but it's so rough. Like, I got to back. I feel like a 90-year-old man when I get off.
I'm with you there. How about favorite show?
Favorite show, Tier Illuminations.
Oh, yeah. But do you know when are they finishing that, Mike? Do you know?
September 30th. And then the new show starts October 1st. So you can, a lot of our listeners are actually going down for kind of the switchover. They're going to, go down a couple days, like the 28th of September and stay till the 2nd of October and see the last couple of Illuminations, first couple of the Epcot Forever. And but you know what? I'm fine with it. We still have the music. We'll have that forever. Yeah. And I've got some memories. So
well, yeah, I got a question for you, what you're going to miss, but what about your favorite music that I'm not mentioning? I know you had a radio show. I don't know if you still have, you were like an internet show you did.
Yeah, well, we have basically a radio station that plays Disney music 24/7. It's magicalmouseradio.com, so you can check that out. Good friend Brian, who helps program that because I just got way too busy. Yeah. The other day I was on a run. I heard the Fantasmic show. That has some solid music. I love the Illuminations, but really anything at Walt Disney World, to me, that's probably one of the top 3 things about Walt Disney World is the music and especially the music they write like for early 80s Epcot attractions, Energy, the Seas, what have you, Imagination Pavilion. It's just especially the entrance loop to Epcot with kind of the medley of all of them in some of the World Showcase stuff. That's without the music, Walt Disney World wouldn't be near what it is.
With 100%. I love the background music anywhere you're at, or even the Rivers of Light. I love the music, but a listener told us about this, and I think I'd heard it before. But the WDW Today app that you can get on your phone is that television station that's on your resort in the morning. Yep. I started listening to that. Like I take a bus to work. Like that is so relaxing.
Yeah, it's good. That's a great app because I think everybody as you become a huge Disney fan, it used to be Channel 19. I know it's not Channel 19 anymore, but I still call it Channel 19, the power station. Yeah. And, I was like, God, if I could just take that back. I've heard people say, if Disney Plus, when it comes out in November, just had Resort TV, I'd subscribe for twice what they're asking. It's like, we are big Disney nerds. If we're going to do that, but I mean, I'm right with you. Sign me up. Yeah, I get it.
All right. Just a couple more, Mike. This has been so much fun for me. I'm sure my audience is digging this too. How about a favorite drink?
Favorite drink? I really don't drink much. I only drink at Disney and when we're on the cruise, and that's pretty well. I have a margarita every once in a while here at home, but I get up super early in the morning and I don't want to pay the price. So yeah, I like that Fiesta margarita over at Mexico. It's got the 3 colors and 3 flavors, and on a hot summer day, there's really nothing better.
Nice. It didn't have to be alcoholic, but I'll take it. Well,
then it's the peanut butter and jelly shake.
Every
time I see the fireworks there, I always go to Tune In Lounge, go up to the bar, get a to-go peanut butter and jelly shake.
That's a favorite of mine too. I'm not just saying that either. You're hitting a lot of my favorites. And how about favorite? Oh, I got to ask you this because I heard you say it on your show. How about your favorite cinnamon bun? Gaston's Tavern. Is it? Okay.
It's the atmosphere of the thing. And also, here's the thing about I'm a huge Coke Zero fan. Like that's kind of my addiction since I started losing weight a few years back. And They do have it at Gaston's, where it's so weird because on property it's like 50-50. Some places will have it, some places won't. So if you like zero and you love cinnamon rolls, that's where, and you know, of course you got to sit in a big throne chair kind of thing, you know, get a selfie.
That's nice. Yeah, that's my wife's favorite too. I'm big on the colossal Mickey one that I discovered over Animal Kingdom.
Oh, no, where's that? Because I'm going to have to check that out when I'm down.
Yeah, so you can get it at the place I first got it was in Africa, right kind of on the left-hand side before you get into the safari.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, near Tusker.
Yeah, between Tusker and the safari. And they also have it at the coffee place there. Yeah, the famous coffee place. I'm zoning out. Yeah, so it's huge. And it's
my wife. Speaking of those,
look for that one.
The Joffrey's coffee places. She loves those pink donuts. She's hooked on those things.
All right. How about? I like this one. The favorite smell.
Favorite smell? Definitely not the people I'm running with on marathon weekend. It's usually my friends. It's usually probably me that smells the worst.
They're your friends, but.
No, I would say, you know what? Pirates. You know, like pirates. When you're in the queue, when you're on the ride, it's like. That's just kind of drowning yourself in Disney deodorant right there. I think, you know, take it there immediately.
Aren't they? You know, we used to laugh about the pirate water and all the water smell, the kind of moldy smell. And didn't they infuse like some prettier smells in pirates now?
Yeah, they classed up the pirates. So pick yourself up. You know, this is 2019. We can't have that. 1982 funk anymore. Let's get that going. No, I don't know if they have or not, but I mean, in today's society, it would not surprise me.
That's right. Well, you've been around a while. Is there something that you kind of miss? I know we got Illuminations going away, but is something that you really miss from the past?
The thing that I miss the most, and I'm one of those people that I like that there's change, because every time I go down, there's something new happening and there's something new to check out. And that's why, when people tell us, oh, you're going to Disney again. Yeah, but we have a different experience every time. But the thing I really do miss is the Osborne lights at the studios.
Oh yeah.
Because, oh God, those were so amazing. Like
good.
From the Midwest, and people do that stuff here. We'll have like houses around us that you could practically see from space. And the Osborne lights celebrated that monstrosity. It was but it was cool how they danced and they had the cool Christmas, because I'm a huge Christmas music fan. So it was just everything. And I know they had to get rid of it for Galaxy's Edge, and we're getting more, 365 in return, but that was such a niche little thing that I just loved. I loved it so much.
Unique too. You could see the angels I remember you used to wear the glasses. That was kind of cool. They're kind of hovering all over the place.
And we'd always look for that black cat, that Mallory loved finding the black cat. It was always so fun.
Yeah, I'm with you there. All right. Last question. We'll get you out. This has been so much fun for me.
It's been a blast for me too. I love this.
I've been totally fanboying on you, but I don't care. All right. Something you're looking forward to, the new stuff, Mike.
Of course, everybody's looking forward to Galaxy's Edge. I think we're, some people are actually saying they're getting Galaxy's Edge fatigue at this point, because there's been so much coverage of everything happening. Those that are fortunate enough to get out to Disneyland and really get firsthand experience. Yeah. But, I'm really looking forward to that. But it's just kind of the whole, we're going into the 50th anniversary of Walt Disney World with lots of things happening. We have new resorts like the Riviera. We have new places to stay in, familiar resorts like the Grandestino Tower at Coronado Springs. Yeah. Of course, you got Ratatouille coming to France. Oh, yeah. You got the Guardians roller coaster. Yeah. Future World. There's just, the thing is, here's the one thing, and I'll kind of wrap it up here. The thing, and this is kind of stupid, of all those things I named, what I'm looking forward to most is the Skyliner, the gondolas, as we call them on our show, because I dig Disney transportation. I think they're so efficient. They're so friendly. Yeah. And there's so many unique ways to get around. Like, we don't take boats, even though we live right on the Missouri River, about a mile from it here, which is huge right now because of the floods. But like, just to be able to take like a gondola from your resort to a theme park. That's so great. And I'm staying at Pop Century this year instead of one of the Epcot area resorts. So instead of staying deluxe, I'm staying value, just because I want to check out the gondolas when I'm down there for Marathon Weekend. I think it's going to be a unique experience for everybody. I'm huge about, we're going to do that. I hope it's open by October. We're really excited about. What about the space restaurant? I'm excited for that too. I haven't, I've seen a few details on that one, and it's one of those things that I definitely will go there immediately when I get the opportunity. But it's like, I was back stage behind Test Track and Spaceship Earth for a media thing over Marathon Weekend. I saw there's a lot of construction that's done there. So they've on the backside, the building's complete. But like, I think the Skyliner, what I'm getting excited for is like, you see it, it's colorful, it's vibrant, it's moving, it's got kinetic energy. Like I gotta get on that thing, check it out. I just want to ride it.
Well, when you said space stuff, I thought that would be another one. I mean, yes. So I'm glad you didn't just say one thing, because there's so many things. Man, the construction, I never seen anything like it, but they told us it was coming.
Well, and before that, though, they said, don't expect, this was like 7 or 8 years ago, we finished this. We're not going to have a lot of capital expenditures down at Walt Disney World here for a while. We've built out, we're going to kind of just take a deep breath. And as soon as they said that, Harry Potter happened over at Universal, and ever since, like, Disney's like, well, we got to plus that. So, again, the competition's good for us. I'm not a big Universal fan. I'll go there and have some fun. It pushes Disney, and when Disney gets pushed, they can usually win. So I like that.
And I heard for the conference this year, they're doing the D2. They're doing the Epcot upgrades are coming too. So.
Ricky's getting ready to cover that for us, and just. There was a crazy rumor they're getting rid of the land and the seas. I hope that doesn't happen. That can't be true.
Ooh,
I mean, I should say it can't be true.
My wife hates that when they do that stuff. Oh, she'll go bonkers. But, well, Mike, thank you so much. Tell everybody where they can find you and your awesome podcast.
I appreciate that. Yeah, just follow me on Instagram or Twitter. I'm at BeOurGuestMike, and you can check out our website. We just redesigned our website, so it's great for mobile listening and checking out on the desktop. It's beourguestpodcast.com. We're on all the places, Stitcher, iTunes, all the listening devices. There's one looking at me right now. I just can't say the A word, or else it'll go crazy. You can listen anywhere, and we appreciate it. If you haven't checked out our show, please do. And this is kind of what we do. We just talk about Disney. We have a good time, just like we did today. And, nothing too serious. These are the good, we always say, these are the best times in life. This is kind of the gravy. This is the fun stuff. So, you're not going to get a lot of, we're glass half full all the time, just about, we're not complainers. We're people that are we're blessed to get to go, and we like to talk about it.
I love it. Thank you so much for coming on, Mike. I was so excited to have you, and I hope I get to see you in the parks and fanboy you more there.
Well, I'll buy you a peanut butter and jelly shake.
Love it. Thanks, Mike.
All right. Thank you so much.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
Well, this episode was so much fun for me. Thank you, Mike, so much for being fun and goofy with me on that introduction. That was inspired by the movie Step Brothers. You haven't seen that movie. It's been out for a long time. My son always talked about it, and they had done that scene that Mike and I copy for a New York Yankees promo a few years ago too. And that was, I think, the first time I even knew about it. My son told me about that. So go check out that movie. It's funny. Then you'll really understand more about our intro, but he had never even seen the movie before, and he did a great job and was a great sport about it. I'm sure hoping we can connect more, Mike, and collaborate more in the future. Thanks for coming on the show. Now some shout outs for our Geekin' family. I want to give a shout out to Kimberly Getchman. She recently joined our private Facebook group. She's got a trip planned in August, and she asked a great question. We were chatting on Facebook Messenger about Magical Express, and she was really nervous about when her bags would arrive after her flight. Well, I had to ask Mama. I had to think about that. I've never had a problem with my bags arriving. Of course, we usually get there early in the morning. We go off to the parks. By the time we get back into our room, the bag's are already sitting there. I think she's got an afternoon flight, so she's probably concerned, but Disney's official word is that they'll have their bags to you within 3 hours. Now, if they don't, you definitely call the hotel and check on your bags, but that's not been a problem for us. But thank you for the question, Kimberly. I noticed Kimberly right away taking advantage of our private Facebook group, which is so awesome to just have fun, ask questions. Well, Kimberly asked a great question because she wants to take advantage of rope dropping, Flight of Passage, and Slinky Dog. Speaking of dogs, that was Luke scratching on my door. Well, through the power of podcasting and editing, you didn't hear all that commotion, but Luke, my black lab, had to have his breakfast. So Mama just took care of him. But getting back to Kimberly's question about the rope dropping of Flight of Passage and Slinky Dog. If you're staying at the resort, one thing Mama said to me, you want to get to the bus like 15 minutes before the buses start taking off for the resorts, which Disney says is going to be an hour before park opening. So do that, set that time up, and then you'll be able to get there at a pretty good time for rope drop. And I know some of our listeners even talked about driving over even earlier than that. But if you're staying at a resort and you're taking the buses, that's what we look to do. So look at the park opening. the buses take off an hour before that time, and you want to be waiting about 15 minutes for the bus before that to get over. That's what we do for rope drop guys. And definitely you'll be able to get on Flight of Passage and Slinky Dog. We've been hearing good results. You might have a little bit of a wait, but it's definitely worth it. And then you could save those other 3 fast passes for other attractions. And that's a great beat the crowd strategy. Lots of great stuff going on in our Facebook group this past week. I want to shout out to Victoria Upson yesterday. She said she finished episode 289, which was the veggie versus meat episode. She says it was a great episode, but she's got 2 comments, and she was surprised there wasn't a throwdown about Columbia Harbor House and the Columbia Lighthouse Sandwich, which is one of their favorites, versus the lobster roll at Columbia Harbor House. You know, I love that comment, Victoria, because I love these. You called it a throwdown. I think that's a fun way to say it. And we have a great spirit about this. Like, we do the Dole Whip versus the citrus swirl. I'd love to have more of these. I think it's just kind of a fun thing to do. And she also says you guys totally made her go and buy the Gardein fishless fillets for dinner. So yeah, we talked about that as a product that's both you can get at home and it's at Disney World. So thank you for that comment, Victoria. I thought that was a great comment. I got another one. Holly Austin. I was getting ready to go to a picnic for Auntie Judy's nephew who just graduated high school. She had a question in our Facebook group that made me think of Auntie Judy immediately because it was about the hoop-de-doo. She was saying how her ADR day is 1 month away. She's getting her game plan together and looking at the hoop-de-doo for their arrival day. So they're going to stay at Copper Creek and they're landing before 10 a.m. So they're going to get a little rest and then they're going to go on over to the show. There's going to be 5 of them. They got some young kids too. Wow. 5-year-old, 2-year-old, and 14-month-old. God bless you, Holly. Yeah, that's quite a crew you got going over to the hoop-de-doo. I think you're going to really enjoy it. You know, we have always, it's one of Auntie Judy's favorite, but she was wondering if it was worth it for the few extra dollars for tier 1, or should I stick to tier 2 or 3 having those little ones. So we've done the tier 1 and the tier 3, and tier 1 is definitely fun. We were right in the first row. And the cast members are right coming through the crowd a lot, but they'll go up to tier 3 too. They'll go up there on the railing. We've been up there. Now, Auntie Judy is a purist when it comes to hoop-de-doo. So she's going to say, go for the tier 1 or tier 2. I think they're all great seats there. And, that's a big expense. One of the things we never did hoop-de-doo when my kids were little, it was because of the expense. So I'm glad you're getting the chance to go over there. And I think you'll enjoy it either way. Great food too, by the way. I love that comfort barbecue and ribs and chicken. So I think you're great family atmosphere and enjoy the show, Holly. Another shout out for cousin Heather Stone Capel. We call her cousin Heather because her maiden name is really Stone, and she lives in the Northeast here like we do. She was asking about the tri-state area and maybe a meetup this summer. We've been talking about this for a couple of years and we haven't pulled it together, but we are seriously interested in doing that. If we got to pick a place that's kind of in a central area where we all can meet, and I would love to do that. So if you're interested in meeting up here in Connecticut or New York and New Jersey, I'd love to do a central tri-state meetup, and we're really interested in doing that. So let me know. Let's put that together. I know we saw one in Pennsylvania in the Philly area happening, and then there's others in the Chicago area and so forth. So I think we should be doing it here up in the Northeast this summer. It's been beautiful. Boy, beautiful weekend too. We got to pick a good weekend. I'd love to go down to the Connecticut shore. We did a lobster roll down there last year. And on the Connecticut shore, we also did one in Rhode Island. So we may be making some of those road trips. We'll let you know. And maybe you can stop by and say hi. Well, we've got a big family reunion for the Geekin' family coming up this October. It's like the big first one ever. It's time to come to the October 2019 Grand Geekin' Gathering. We're going to have an official meetup October 27th, 11 a.m. at the Mexican Pavilion. I saw another great post out in the Facebook group. Amanda Allgood had mentioned that they had made it 9 or 10 fast passes in a day. And I know Glenn Kessler has put together a sheet. It's like a PDF that he calls it the Kessler Run. He is famously known about getting fast passes and doing as many as he can while he's in the parks. And he put together a game. He's gamified this. He's got points for each of the parks. And the goal is to get as many points as you can. And that is something I know the geeks are going to be doing one day during the Grand Geek and Gathering. I got to post this out on our website. I'll let you know when I do that. And there are so many. Mom and I were talking about the fireworks cruise we're going to do. Heather Brainerd is putting that together. So there's a lot of little side things and happenings going on. But the main meetup is going to be October 27th, 11 a.m. at the Mexican Pavilion. Yeah, we do have a couple of ways that you can voluntarily support us. I'm so excited and grateful for the support we've received through our patreon.com account. Patreon.com is where you can pledge a monthly donation to our show. It's what was really exciting about this to me is how this Patreon support was started by our super geeks. They didn't even ask me. I had this account out there for a couple of years. I didn't do a whole lot with it, but they reached out to our listeners at our 5-year anniversary, and they really boosted the donations to our show. I am so amazed. I am so grateful for your support, geeks. I'd be delighted if you would contribute to, and I think a $5 per month pledge is awesome. And we have several geeks that are even contributing more. So huge hugs and thank yous to all of you who support our Geekin' family through patreon.com. A big thank you to Wendy Fox, who is a Patreon supporter this week. I love seeing those emails. I got a new Patreon supporter. I'm looking forward to seeing Wendy at the G3. Thank you so much, Wendy. I've met her and husband before. Great supporters of the show. Hey, each week we share awesome tips for your Disney trip planning, but you can instantly gain that advantage by booking with us, with Mama, Auntie Judy, EJ Cruz, Jennifer Galambos. Email Judy and Mama at travelingtiaras@gmail.com. And you can find EJ and Jennifer on their Little Dole Whips Facebook page. We are authorized Disney planning agency through Fairy Tale Concierge. We were busy this week, guys. You probably heard me talking about this, but the big news, and I think a lot of the travel agents were busy because of the 2020 Disney World packages. They all came out this past week. And, can you believe it's June of 2019? I cannot believe half this year is gone. Well, we're starting to book a lot for 2020. You really got to get that plan started and get rolling. And I was talking to Dana Koromansky-Brogneri. Dana, we were chatting on Facebook Messenger, and I'm sorry I hope I got your name all out my mouth correctly, but we had great conversations, and Dana complimented. We got on the phone with Dana. She did a transfer. If you've booked your trip within the last 30 days and you'd like for Mom and Judy to help you with your fast passes, that was one of the things I think Dana really wanted some help with is, boy, could you get up at 6 a.m. for me and do my fast passes? They'll let us know what they're looking for, and Mom and Judy will get on the phones and computers. They'll tag team it, and they'll get those fast passes for you when they're really, 60 days out. They'll be right on it for you. So Dana really complimented me and Mom, and she kept saying how nice we are. I think we are nice. I think that is one of the fun things. I listen to Mom and Judy talk to the clients on the phones, and we know what we're talking about, but we love working with you guys. We love talking Disney World all the time. They really watch out for you. Those Fridays are follow-up Fridays. If they haven't heard back from you, they might reach out to you, or they'll let you know what's coming down. These countdown dates are like the fast passes and the ADRs, and we are such a great team. EJ, Jennifer, Mama, and Judy. They do know that technical stuff of booking, and it happens. Even I can help you. If you want to get on the phone with me, I'd love to talk to you. I had a listener I was talking to that was going down, and they're like, we're definitely going next year. Well, I said, don't forget about the bounce back. I've got this post out on my website. This is the 2019 bounce backs. It's got details. There's a phone number there that you can call when you're down on your stay, but you got to book those bounce back discounts before you leave from that trip. So it'll be interesting to see what they're doing for 2020. And hey, if you're down there, and call the number and let me know what they're doing if you see something different than what we've known for 2019 for the bounce back. But that's a great way to get in on a great discount for 2020. I'm sure they're going to be announcing that coming up this fall. That's usually, I think, what they do. So yeah, let me know. But you can always transfer that booking over to us within 30 days. So we love it. And we will help you with your trip. Well, geeks, besides the regular weekly podcast, the Geekin' Family podcast, I am cranking out content all the time. I am enjoying this. I have put together the Geek and Family Inner Circle podcast. It is, you got to go to our website, geekinonwdw.com/inner circle, and you will get access to another podcast. It is our live trip reports mostly right now. There are 6 episodes out there, just posted out another one this past week. When you sign up for the Inner Circle, you're going to gain access to this new private podcast feed, and you can load that up on your phone. We'll teach you how to do that. There's instructions out on my website on how to get that set up. It is bonus podcast episodes. I was reading Amy Beckner's Facebook post. This just recently came. This is kind of funny. She addressed it to Glenn Kessler. She says, as our family artist, can you do a quick drawing of the newest dwarfs, Gropey and Dumpy? Looking forward to seeing them. She forgot that this reference to Gropey and Dumpy happened on one of the Inner Circle episodes. Actually, it's this very past week's Inner Circle podcast where we were at Storybook Dining. And well, let me play a little clip from this past week's Inner Circle so you can understand what Amy was talking about.
I like Snow White.
Hey, you Gropey!
Here's the Gropey and Dumpy. Good one, Mom.
You really were.
And you laugh at my Snoopy. Those two are.
You like my Mickey Mouse clips?
Unfortunately, it's going to get stuck in your head.
Keeps my hair out of my eyes. Loaded, Lindsay.
We have 9 dwarfs. Gropey and Dumpy have been added.
No, Gropey and Dumpy.
That was a classic.
But then we got to forget Snoopy. Yeah, Snoopy too.
That was a classic Margita. Gropey and Dumpy.
Watch this.
That's her German.
You know what? We can.
Her German gets mixed up. She's been mixed up since she was in kindergarten.
Kurt wants to drink.
Yeah, lazy Susan.
It says, how about no, and it's got grumpy. Well, here comes there.
First one of all, every fairy tale has a villain, and our story is no different. Lords and ladies, please welcome the Queen.
Oh, there she is.
I was laughing. You know, I forgot what is on these live trip reports myself because they're from January and I'm having a ball listening back to them. I hope you got a laugh out of that also. And I've got more of those recordings coming. So sign up for the Inner Circle, geeking on www.com/inner circle. You'll get our weekly newsletter, the Geek and Gazette. We send out our favorite news items from Disney World and info on Disney World packages and other news from our Geek and Family. There's a couple of freebie handouts, including a free packing checklist and a spreadsheet to help you plan your trip like we use for ourselves and our travel clients. And right now I'm really excited. I've been putting together some newbie content. I wanted some content where when someone walks up to me and says, hey, I understand you guys go to Disney World, or, you know, someone told me about you guys and I'm looking to do my very first trip. So I built a PDF that I'm calling the Geek and Family 9 Keys to a Magical Vacation. Yeah, so this is something I can hand to somebody and say, hey, just read this if you want to talk about this, but this will give you some ideas, and it gives you those 9 keys, and then it's got a page there where you can, a one pager where you can jot down your notes to follow that system to really plan a great magical vacation down in Disney World. So that's coming out. I'm going to be sending that out to our email list, and it's kind of a draft, so you can comment on that and let me know, and it's something I'm going to prepare for our newbies that join the Geek and Family and they're asking how to have a fun magical vacation down in Disney World. Along with that PDF, I'm also planning some audio content that goes along with that. So look for that in the coming weeks. And as always, thanks for going geeking on Walt Disney World with us. We really appreciate you listening and geeking with us every single day. We love you, geeks. Have a magical day, and I hope all your dreams come true.